Hello, I'm here to talk to you about the software programs that you asked me to research earlier this month. So, I'm going to talk to you about the financial planning software that I chose to research. I chose three software, and they include Money Guide Pro, NaviPlan, and Ride Capital. So, I'm going to start off with Money Guide Pro. So, Money Guide Pro is goals-based software, and it calculates every possible scenario at that point in time according to your financial position. It also is a comprehensive financial approach to financial planning, I guess, or the software, you could say. So I know we do at our firm, we address we are a comprehensive financial planning firm. So I think this would be very beneficial because we're not just addressing one area of financial planning. We're kind of just doing it all. So I think this software would be a really good fit for us. Another thing that I did like about this software is that it's really easy to navigate and use. It's very user friendly. I didn't really have trouble trying to figure out where everything needed to go, as you just start off with the basic information, such as their client information, the most basic thing you can do, and then just keep going into their goals, their money, their investment assets, stock options, whatever they have, other assets, their liabilities. It kind of is pretty straightforward up until you get into the whole recommended scenario. Then, if you choose to change anything in the plan, you can go to the what if worksheet. And then that what if worksheet will allow you to change some things on the table as they go, such as their retirement planning age. For example, if they sold a business or anything, you would exclude that business, the sale of the business in one scenario. And you can do quite a number of scenarios. What if someone dies before the other? You can change a lot on this what if worksheet. And then once you calculate the scenario, you come out with a percentage, and we recommend the Monte Carlo percentage because it's pretty accurate. And the percentage ranges from 0 to 100%. So the closer you are to 100, the more probability you have of your plan actually succeeding. So I thought that was really useful, and it's a really simple way to look at financial planning, I suppose. And instead of trying to figure out, is this plan going to work or not, it actually tells you if it is going to work or not. And it takes more of a broader approach when it comes to planning. And I know some people like in-depth, an area, for estate planning, they just want a specific area, but this kind of addresses everything in general, which I think is very useful. Another thing that I did like about this is the goals. When inputting the goals, these can be categorized by levels of importance, such as wants, needs, and wishes. And I think this was actually useful because once you get into inputting the goal, it tells you how much money how much money you want to allocate for this goal, and then it shows you, allows you to input the number of occurrences this goal will happen before or during retirement. And I think this is useful because if we're trying to plan for retirement, we need to know how much money to save or even money to allocate for this retirement. So the number of occurrences would be very beneficial because then once we get into retirement, what if we don't have enough money if we don't input the correct number of occurrences? So I thought that was a really good strength to have for this software. And also another thing that I did like about this is that you can change whatever you want, like I said, on the what if worksheet, and then run that analysis. So I think that was really beneficial once you get to the end and then you try to figure out what you need to do in order for your plan to be successful. Another thing that I also did like about this was that once you get into the investment assets and you put in all their allocation according to what they have on their financial statements, at the end, towards the end, you can go to a proposed allocation, and it tells you what their allocation should be according to their risk tolerance. And if you don't have the risk tolerance, you can just go to the beginning of the software, and then you can just put Phonometrica, and it's going to allow you for them to fill out a questionnaire, and then once they fill out that questionnaire, it will give you their risk tolerance, which I thought that was really neat when it comes to trying to figure out where you should allocate what funds. And a thing that I also found it, I guess, not beneficial but good for our firm was it's only $175 a month. So I didn't think this was a very high number for such a good quality of software. So that's another thing to consider once you try to decide what financial software you want to use. So now I'm going to talk to you about NaviPlan. So NaviPlan is a software that calculates scenarios using cash flows analysis and budgeting. So it does take on more of a cash flow approach. It's not very, you could say it is also kind of comprehensive, but it's not as detailed as Money Guide Pro. So the accuracy of this might not be as accurate as the Money Guide Pro. I did find it hard to navigate. It was even harder just to start out because there's so many options when it comes to the plan, like what kind of plan you want to choose. So it depends on what the client is wanting. And for this case, I chose a retirement plan, and even that itself was a little complicated to start. Once I kind of started watching the intro video, it was a little easier to do, but however, it still was a little bit hard to navigate. So I don't know if my colleagues would be up for that challenge. I know software can be a little bit complicated, and we're trying to make this transition as easy as possible. It does lack some kind of detail when it comes to estate planning and like the goals, entering the goals, and then also risk management, such as like insurance. When it comes to the goals, it didn't allow me to input the number of occurrences. It doesn't even have an entry for that. So I think this is kind of detrimental to the client, because how are we gonna save up for this goal if we don't know how many times this goal is gonna occur during retirement or before retirement? And there might be a shortfall of money if that doesn't happen. So that was another thing to consider once trying to look at these softwares. Another thing that I didn't like about this was that for the insurance section, it only allowed me to do like life insurance, long-term care, and disability. It didn't allow me to do like homeowners, auto, umbrella insurance, or boat insurance. So, and I know a lot of the clients have all those things included in their financial like statements and things like that. So I think that's another issue that NaviPlan has, is that it didn't allow me to put all their information, and we want to be as accurate as possible, and I don't think this software would be as accurate as we need it to be. And this, the approach to this would be, it's kind of narrow instead of the broad overview of financial planning. So that's another thing that I didn't like about this. I wish if it allowed us to maybe plan more for estate and risk insurance or like risk management, then I think it would be a great fit for us. But I don't think it's the best fit as far as it comes to our firm. Another thing that I have an issue with is that it's $183 a month, which is more than Money Guide Pro, and I feel like Money Guide Pro offers more than NaviPlan. So that's another thing that we can look into once you come back from your trip and then figure out what you want to do. And then last but not least, I'm going to talk about Right Capital. So Right Capital also takes a comprehensive approach. However, it switches between cash flow and goals based. So it allows you to customize your own return assumptions, and it offers modified cash flow analysis and then a goals based analysis. So whatever the client wants to do or you think is appropriate for the client, we can do that for them. And then one thing I really, really did like about this program is that it was very easy to use and navigate. It's actually more easy to use and navigate than Money Guide Pro, which is a very good thing for us to look into. And it also is a very comprehensive broader approach to the financial planning, which I think is a great fit for us as well, because we can address every area of financial planning as we get into each client. Another thing I did like about this is that it allows our clients to log into the program as well and then review their information. Obviously, they're not going to have the same access as we do, but they're still going to have access to all the information they gave us and then what their plan is looking like. So I thought that was really neat for us because some clients do have questions about this and we need to answer them, and if we can't answer them, they can just look at it. This kind of supports cash flows and then tax projections and then also Social Security optimization. So I thought this was cool, or not cool, but like easy for them to use because it allows them to figure out what they need to do in those areas, and it's really simple to follow. Also, same with Money Guide. It gave me the ability to input the number of occurrences the goals happen during or before retirement. So that's a good thing. And it also does a really good job of estimating tax liabilities in the future for the client. So that's also a very good thing. I think it's a really good approach when trying to decide what software to use. I think this is the easier one to navigate out of all the three, and it does take a more modern approach, so it's also good because we would be up to date with all the financial software that is coming out. Another thing is that I guess I found it really useful for me as well, and then for the company, because our colleagues would not have trouble trying to figure out how to navigate this. It's kind of pretty self-explanatory. I mean, it doesn't give you a lot of options at the beginning like NaviPlan does, and this would be a very simple approach to figure out how to learn how to even navigate it. So I think that would be a really good thing to consider, or this software would be a really good thing to consider. And the thing is, doing some research, I ended up figuring out that it's only $150 a month. I know it's a little bit more once you get into the more premium, but it wouldn't allow me to look at that stuff. But if we just sign up with our email, we could figure out the total cost of it. And I know the value of this would be very beneficial. Like, it's very beneficial for us to sign up for this program because I think it would be useful for our firm. So just let me know what you think about this, and then we'll keep in touch. And then once you get back from your trip, we'll sit down and discuss what you want to do with this. Thank you and have a good day.